Greetings, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and you are watching the Sense of Wonder YouTube channel. And I just have this video, just a little commentary for you, and it's kind of appropriate in terms of my introduction here is in an old library with an old book and an old map, and you know that's the Mappa Mundi. You should look that up, the Mappa Mundi on the wall there. But anyway, in this video, we're going to take a look at a book that's over 100 years old. And actually, the very last paragraph has a statement that's very relevant in today's world. And this is just a quick little, I don't know what to call it, a soliloquy on a book that I got from the local library. And I often go, we got a library here in the city I live in that's over 100 years old. I think it's like 100, it actually goes back to like 1835. And then they rebuilt it in like the 1880s, so it's a beautiful library. It's got, in the back, it's got these shelves of books that date, you know, more than 100 years old, and it's really wonderful. So sometimes I will go in there and just kind of browse around looking for anything interesting. It's kind of like an exercise in serendipity, just to see if I find something unusual that I don't. And I checked out this book called Design in Theory and Practice. And it is actually pretty interesting, and it dates back to 1910. Can you see that? 1910 by the Macmillan Company. And, you know, another interesting thing too is, you know, it has the old, you know, the old cards. You know, of course now it's modernized, but it has these old cards. And April 4th, the first checkout on this card is April 4th, and I think that's 1936. You know, so it was checked out a bunch of times before even World War II, which is kind of crazy, right? 1966, etc., etc. But I like the book. It's got some interesting stuff about, you know, design, blacksmithing, you know, various aspects of beauty, harmony, and balance, and all kinds of interesting things, you know, but something that really struck me about this book is the very last paragraph, because it's so, it is so predictive of what's going on in today's world, and in terms of the internet and the World Wide Web. But here, I'm going to read this last paragraph to you. You probably can't read that. Last of all, do not be clever. No term could be more of a reproach in art than this. Art is painstaking. It demands ceaseless work, toil, drudgery it may be. That which is easiest won is generally least worthwhile. The worker must ever be open-minded and watch against clever mannerisms as against a drought that dries up the river at its source. And I thought to myself, you know, isn't that the internet? It's turned into this big machine of cleverness. Everyone's trying to be clever. And clever rises to the top, and clever gets noticed, and it's kind of, there's a certain emptiness in it. So, and, you know, and this video ends up to be an exercise in recursion, because I think to myself, well, is that what I'm doing here? I'm trying to be clever by showing you something about how not being clever. Something to think about. And I've always said, for years I've been saying that the internet is like an ocean that's an inch deep, you know. And it's a generalization, but I just really was struck by this more than 100-year-old book that really points out something about our modern day internet.